Welcome to Rockefeller's Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road. My phone number is 210-782-5188. Come out and get your haircut here at Rockefeller's Barbershop. You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartRadio.
You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast special edition with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast, and I'm your host, Shemaya Reed. And before we get to today's guests, I want to thank our sponsors. First and foremost, our number one partner since day one, Rockefeller's Barbershop, the owner, Rico Rodriguez. And also I want to thank Ms. Kim of River City Donuts, Bebe McClinton of All Sports Speed and Conditioning, and D.W. Brooks Funeral Home. And today's guest is a business owner, Jeff Hall. He's the founder and owner of Overflow Cafe. Born in Guyana, South America, he moved to Canada in 1983. Jeff is a heavyweight. He has been in business for over 23 years. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Shemaya.
Yes, sir. So how did you get started in your business, and explain to us what is Overflow Cafe?
Yeah, I got involved. I was 15 years old. I was being raised by a single mom. We were poor. Rent was due, and I had to do something. And I've been working for a long time. I've been working since I was a kid. And that was bringing in a little bit of money, but I needed real money. And I had this idea. I'm like, you know what I'm really good at? I'm really good at computer stuff. And so we started out really as almost like a computer company, helping people with their computers and websites. This was 1995. Websites were still pretty brand new. You had all those small search engines, and Yahoo was the big dog back then. Mm-hmm. And Google didn't even exist, really. And basically, me and my buddy, I basically convinced my friend to just help me with this, and we just set up this thing and built it little by little by little. And one of my first customers was I was taking Kung Fu, and one of my first customers was my Kung Fu instructor. I said, look, you have this great school, you don't have a lot of students. I know you invested money, you have a website, let me make that website popular. And if you gain a whole bunch of students, pay me, pay me some money. He said, okay. And that's it. It really worked for him. His school filled up nicely. He expanded his school, and Overflow Cafe was born. And our tagline is, we make websites popular. It's the one and only thing that we do. So if you're a business owner, or if you're a personal brand, well, how do you compete with all of those other people who are in your space? You need to rank number one. You need traffic to your website, and you also need those people who are landing on your website. You need them to purchase something from you. And so that's where we come in, and it's a ridiculously easy service. We've made it for the everyday average people, where you're just starting out and you don't have a huge budget. It's $29 a month. It's a flat fee. You could cancel at any time. And we basically, from the moment you sign up, we just tell you, sit back and relax. Let us take all that stress off of you and onto us. And we have a very scientific approach. It's step by step, where we bump you up in the search engines for phrases that actually matter for you. So if you're a personal brand, it's usually your name and a combination of things. If you're just a company, then it'll be whatever your product or service is. And we'll just bump you up in the search engine rankings. And eventually, it's not fast, but eventually you end up ranking number one. And at that stage, you have a beautiful website, and hopefully you've found some tremendous business success. It doesn't work for everyone, so I should also mention that to you.
Mm-hmm. And as a brand and entrepreneur, what do you encourage your clients to do to make sure their websites are ready?
To make sure, well, you know what? You don't even have to have your website ready when you sign up with us now. In years past, you had to have a complete site. Now, we will just walk you through the process. We'll just take you through the process step by step. We'll say, look, there's certain things you need to add here. There's certain things you need to remove here, and so on and so forth. And we'll make it so easy for you, you'll wish that you signed up with us sooner. And I'm not saying this as a sales pitch. We're really good at what we do. If you don't believe me, don't even pay us any money, by the way. If you have time to head over to overflowcafe.com and just click free SEO report, and you can see why your competitor is outranking you. You can see why you're ranking where you're ranking for any keyword, and you can use that as much as you want for free before you sign up. And so, there's so much that you can do. We'll just get you there step by step by step.
So I signed up. I'm a new client, and I want to see the graph and see how I'm growing. Do you guys also provide advice for marketing, since we're all in the social media world? Do you have any pointers or advice for people marketing to push all the traffic back to the website, using social media?
Absolutely. Yeah, good point. And yeah, we do. We help you with your social media. We help you with all of those digital assets. For us, your main URL, your main website is what we specialize in, because ultimately that's where people will click to, and that's where they're going to be most likely spending their money. So if you're a hair salon, if you're a barbershop, and we've actually helped barbershops and hair salons, beauty parlors, rank number one in extremely competitive cities. And so, that's our main focus. But yeah, we will help you with your Facebook, with your Twitter, with your Instagram. And it's not as important to certain businesses as it is to others, but we certainly will help you with everything we can.
Yeah, I hate to put you on the spot, but do you have a particular story in mind of a success story from a client?
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about this hair salon in Los Angeles, and this lady approached us. I'm trying to remember, must have been 2014, and English was her second language. And she says, she wants to start this hair salon, beauty salon. She had a website, and the website was it was really bad. It was really bad. So I said, look, give us like a year and a half, because there's so many competitors in Los Angeles that this is going to be difficult for me and the team. And took a little bit longer than I expected, unfortunately. It took, I think I said 18 months. It probably took closer to 20 months. We got her to number one, but not just that. It's not just the number one rankings. We got great reviews for her all over the place, and her online presence was so good that when people were Googling for hair salons in Los Angeles, it's not just that they saw her website up there, it's that they saw so many glowing reviews and so much good content. And when they clicked on the link and they went to her website, we told her exactly what to do. Here's what you need to remove. Here's what you need to put. Here's what you need to write. And it converted, and people booked appointments, and she ended up opening up a second location, and she just, it's 2018 now, she just manages both locations. So they're not all success stories. We can't help everybody, but we help as many people as we can. And for her, it worked out really, really well.
What is your most favorite thing, a part of seeing the results come in for the client?
I get to work with people from all over the world, and I get to talk to them on the phone, and it's people it's all these different cultures, and it's people who they've got totally different lifestyles from us. And, I find that we're all so similar. People from all over the world, no matter what our differences are, we're all so similar. At the end of the day, we need to get our bills paid. We have to take care of our spouse. We have to take care of kids. And no matter what we believe politically or religiously, we need those fundamental things to survive. Mm-hmm. And if we cooperate together, we can actually make it. And I love that. I love meeting people who have a completely different political belief from me or a different lifestyle from me, but yet somehow, we got to make that mortgage payment, we've got to make that phone bill payment, we've got to make that car payment and so on. And so we've got to grind every day. And maybe we've got kids and our kids are teenagers and they're starting to get to that troublesome phase. And we put all of those differences aside so that we can come up with solutions. I come up with a solution that betters your life. You come up with a solution that betters my life. And I feel like the whole world moves forward. And I have a good day when I can talk to people like that.
If you're just now tuning in, we are talking to Jeff Hall, the founder and CEO of Overflow Cafe. And I saw in your bio that you were a salesperson back in the day too.
Yeah.
And you were 7, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that, being a salesperson at 7.
Yeah. I lived on Rock Hill Road in Malton, Ontario. It's this rough and tumble town. It's a town of about 40,000 people, and you have to be kind of a tough guy to live there, or a tough girl to live there. And 7 years old, and we needed money. I grew up really, really poor, and I had been doing all these different kinds of odd jobs, yard work, and newspaper delivery and stuff like that. And I don't even know how this came about, but I got an opportunity to sell candy machines and bags of candy door to door. So I was given like a whole case of these little, those little gumball machines. Mm-hmm. And they said, go door to door and just sell them. And I would go door to door. I'd sell the machine. I think it was like $5, and you get a little starter pack of candies. And then the catch being that I'd show up at your house a month later because hopefully you needed more candy and you wanted to try out different kinds of candy. And it was also a couple bucks. And so there was this recurring revenue. And I actually was able to help my family make monthly payments. Like I was a kid, single digits in terms of age. I was making car payments. I was making phone payments. I was paying the cable bill. I mean, I was actually doing pretty good for a kid at that time.
That's amazing. Not any, well, I should say not any, but now a whole lot of people can actually say that. What were some of the things that you learned? Because it wasn't like you was selling candy all day, every day from day one. What was the learning curve?
Oh, wow. I mean, I feel like I'm a real slow learner. I have dyslexia, so I can't even read properly all the time. One thing I learned the hard way was, and I feel like it's a lesson I keep learning over and over in life, is stay away from people who are just bad for you. Stay away from bad people. Sometimes people can be nice to you, but still bad for you. And it's just one of the lessons I've learned the hard way. Just whether you're even, that lesson was good for when I was a kid. It's good for teenagers. It's good for adults as well. Just stay away from people who are not good for you long term. Some people provide temporary comfort, and they're a long-term disaster.
Man, that's so true. What's some words of wisdom? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who will be listening to this podcast. What's some words of wisdom, especially for the new one, the one that wants to get their feet wet and be successful at what they do?
Yeah. Have a vision for the long term. Have a real vision for the long term. You need to know if you're starting a business, find out how long it took someone else in that same business to go from startup to success. For some businesses, it's a matter of years. Even if you have millions of dollars and you buy into one of the, I won't say the name, but one of those big franchises, they tell you you're not going to make any profit for 2 years. Imagine how long it's going to take if you start from scratch and you're unknown and you have a brand that's absolutely brand new, it's going to take you years and years and years. And maybe it's not. Maybe you're going to break out real fast, but you should have your mindset to be grinding every day for years.
In 23 years of your experience, what's a story that, if you can have one pop up in your head, what's a story where you had to really overcome adversity while running your business?
Wow. That's a good one. When I was, I remember when I was going through college, what had happened was, or rewind a little bit, when I was younger, I'd worked this summer job in construction, and my parents, when my mom was going to save the money for me, so I was handing over all my paychecks to her, and it was supposed to be for college. So when I got to that college age, I thought that money was going to be there. And I was working at this business, Overflow Cafe. I mean, I started when I was 15. And so I thought that money would be there ready for me. And unfortunately, it wasn't. We had some family circumstances, I guess, and, the money wasn't there. And I was taking care of my family still, and I was so frustrated. And it really threw me into a depression. And actually, can I tell you an even better story?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you an even better one. When I was about 24 years old, I had basically invested into a project which should have yielded me at least, and you're just going to have to take my word for it, at least $5 million of cash.
Wow.
And the business partner, he just ran away with the money. And I had put everything I had, like everything from Overflow Cafe, all the profit that I had accumulated for years, I put that into this other business. I won't even say what it was, and he just took it and he ran away. And I heard years later that he was rich, like he was made filthy rich. And I didn't have money at the time to hire a lawyer. I went into a depression. I was just so sad. I was really defeated. When you're young and you don't have resources, even when you're old, it's the worst position to be in a country like Canada or America. I'm in Toronto, but it's terrible to be powerless, to be taken advantage of, and to be powerless, and there's no recourse for you, and to see somebody else winning when that was your win. You made the winning play, somebody else gets the trophy.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking on so many levels.
Wow. That's an awesome story, because if you fast forward to today and you're seeing what you're doing, if you just now tune in, we are talking to Jeff Hall, the founder of Overflow Cafe. Let's jump into, you are into building orphanages worldwide. Yeah. Tell us what sparked your interest to get involved, and how did you do that?
Yeah. So, I grew up poor, so I have a heart for people who, especially children, who just through no fault of their own, they're just born into a bad circumstance. And, we can think what we want about adults, but for children, they're just living in whatever circumstance they were born in. They don't have a lot of control in that. And I remember when I was in church one night, and we had people from an actual orphanage in the Ukraine, and they came and they gave a presentation, and they were raising money for it. And I was like, wow, I can't afford to build an entire orphanage, but I can give money towards that. And then I said, let me set my goal to double this amount, and then double this amount, double the amount, and then eventually do bigger and bigger projects. I think by 2006, 2007, I was doing like large scale projects. I've done stuff in Rwanda, South Sudan, Central America, Peru, and I just want to do a couple more. I did one in Ukraine, and there's just a couple more in Moldova, which is near Ukraine, that I'd like to do before I sort of cool down on this sort of stuff. It's very, very expensive, but it's extraordinarily stressful. I've been in situations where, we've built these buildings and we get either a mother or, if possible, a mother and a father to live in the house. It's usually a small house, and then they take on as many kids as they can. It could be anywhere from 4 children up to 10 children, and they just raise them like their own children. And they go to school, or they're, depending on the village, they could be homeschooled, but they're well taken care of, they're well fed, they get medical care, and they're not living on the streets, and they're not subjected to any kind of trouble. They get to grow up like a normal kid should.
That's amazing. I mean, we always like to discuss the why, and let's touch on that a little bit for, like I said, the entrepreneurs, business owners out there who may tune into this episode. Why is it important for someone to know their why when they start a business?
It's so important because it's what keeps you going. It's what keeps you going, and I guess I told you at the beginning, well, I was poor, and that was the why at the time. I'm not poor anymore, and there are times when I say, okay, what's my exit plan? Do I sell the company? Do I, I heard about this, I think I saw this on TV or on the internet. It's a cruise you go on for a year. You're on a cruise ship for a year. It goes to like all the countries possible. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, why am I working? You know what I mean? Or can I take the laptop and my cell phone and just get on the cruise ship and try that out for a while? But then, now it's like, well, I'm a workaholic. I kind of like most days, I don't love it every day, but most days I like what I do. And, if I could figure out a way to do this on a cruise ship, I will do it. And I hope you'll interview me while I'm on a cruise ship.
We have to make that work. That would be awesome. Yeah. I need to be on a cruise ship and interview people. That would be kind of awesome. Yep. Tell the audience, all right? If you're just now listening, we are talking to Jeff Hall, founder of and CEO Overflow Cafe. Let's talk to the middle class. Someone who they work a day job full time, and they never even thought about a business because they always think about the negatives. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's not for me. I can't afford it. What's some of the things that you can help unlock them from that jailhouse, so to speak?
Yeah. That's a tough one. I know so many people. You probably know a lot of people like that too. I would tell them, look, lower your expenses. One of the problems with the middle class, they carry so much debt, credit card debt and credit lines and high interest loans. You don't need to buy all that stuff. You do not need to buy all that stuff you're buying. Have a huge garage sale, minimize your house or your apartment, simplify your life, lower your expenses, cut that cable and get Netflix. Like just get on the basic plan for everything and start saving up as much money as you can, because having a bank account with that cushion of money, it gives you confidence to take those risks. And then you keep your job. You do one thing at a time. Okay, so you're not going to quit your job tomorrow morning, but can you spend the next 100 days researching the project you want to undertake, and then spend the next month building a website, and then the next 6 months signing on your first client while you're doing your job,
and then call you.
Exactly.
Get some traffic.
Exactly, and gain traction. One of the things, middle class people, they're like, oh yeah, I just need to, I don't want to quit my job and be homeless. Who told you to quit your job and be homeless? You don't have to do it the way that there are other entrepreneurs that did it that way, and they loved it. They loved every minute of it. You don't have to do that. You do what you love. Have your secure job, and don't go putting your house on the line or anything like that. Don't sell your kidneys. Just have that security, in one step at a time. And there will come a time when, if the business fails, okay, you've got your job, you have money, it was a learning experience. Technically, and I'm sure this is true, people usually fail at their first business and they usually succeed at their second business. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that Microsoft was Bill Gates' second business. You could look it up and hear him talk about his first business. So, if it succeeds, if you do it this way and your business succeeds, then you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to quit my job in a month or 2 months or whatever. And it's not a problem because you've got a ton of confidence or you've got a ton of money and you can do it.
What will you say to people who really want something but they need to work on their work ethic? Because in your bio you quote, I'm a super strong I have a super strong work ethic. How can someone who is hungry but doesn't have the experience, how can they start where they won't get burnt out?
Yeah. Okay, so you have to have an ethic to work hard for a set number of hours, and it's different for everybody. When I was young, I would say, okay, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm just going to work all day and all night. That was fine when I was a teen, and now I'm 38, I'm turning 39. I can't do it. I need a full night of sleep, and it has to be a really, really good night of sleep. And so it really depends on what age group you're in. So you need to put on paper, look, I'm going to spend an hour a day on this business for the next 100 days. I'm going to spend 4 hours a day on this for the next 6 months. Whatever is right for you. If you're a young mother, if you're a single mother and you're taking care of a child or children, you're not going to be able to dedicate 10 hours a day. You're just not going to be able to do it. But can you do 1 hour? Can you do half an hour? And see what happens. You only need one break, and it leads to another break, and it leads to another one, and leads to another one. And all of a sudden, you've got a little empire that, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, it was a fantasy. Now it's actually coming into fruition. And yeah, take rest, relax. If you're young and you can work 10 hours, that's great, but also take a break, relax. You don't want to have a nervous breakdown. I know people who they've got millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they are one conversation away from a mental breakdown. So get a good night of sleep, eat well, exercise, take care of yourself, relax. And if you destroy your life, you're not going to be able to enjoy any of that money anyways. So take care of yourself.
I like to say to people, because I'm not a millionaire yet, that's one of my goals, but I like to tell people, if you can't manage $5, what makes you think you can manage $5 million? So it's all about being content with what you already have and just expand it. Now, say we have businesses out there, the economy is always going up and down. Say people are focused on the wrong things with their business. They're only focused on the numbers versus what they could be doing to change the numbers. What's some of the habits we can have as a business owner to create opportunity?
Having amazing advisors. Oh my goodness. If you have somebody in your life who is an expert, for example, you go to the doctor's office, you don't want to deal with the secretary, right? You want the doctor checking you out, right? Why? He's an expert. He or she is an expert at medicine. When I do my taxes, I don't do my taxes. I have a chartered accountant do my taxes. Why? He's an expert. He knows all about it. When you have experts in your life who could say, look, here's exactly what you need to do, you might spend a month trying to figure out what they already know. So just, do that. Have those people on your team and let them tell you, look, here's where you're at. Here's what you need to do. Bam. By the way, Overflow Cafe, I got to pitch my company. Oh, yeah. We do that for you. So you have a website, you show up with us, let's say you're on page 150. I'll say, okay, don't worry. We'll get you to page 1. We'll take care of everything. We've got a plan. Here's the plan. You don't have to worry about it. We're going to worry about it. We're just going to show you results. When you have experts in your life, you can have that kind of life.
That's good. That's really good. Because we've been saying on the show quite often, every now and then we'll say the whole statement of the grass is green on the other side. Well, it really depends on who's watering the grass. So if you have a lot of brown spots, you might want to check the neighbor and see what's working for him, because it might just be a lack of awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, it's been a pleasure of having Jeff Hall, the founder and CEO of Overflow Cafe. Sir, how can people stay in contact with you if you're on social media by chance?
Go ahead, go to overflowcafe.com, click our social media links. We don't really do too much right now, but we're actually going to get started up. We're Overflow Cafe on Instagram. I saw a couple hundred people recently followed us. Talk to us through there, Overflow Cafe Instagram, and overflowcafe.com is our website. I would love to do business with you, and anyone listening here, I think I could help you. And love to hear from you.
And anything lastly you would like to say to our audience, whether it's business or life or your services?
Yeah. Guys, where do you want to be at the end of this year? It's already March. December's coming up. What goals do you need to reach this year for sure? I want to help you. I don't know you, and yet I want to help you. So I hope to hear from you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Make sure you support and check out Jeff Hall's business, Overflow Cafe. You want your website traffic to go up? That's the place you need to go. And like I always say on every single show, never, ever forget this, what I'm about to say. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.